When Civilization 7 released about 2 months ago, there were a lot of issues, and I'll be honest, there's still a lot of work to do right now, but the good news is the developers are looking to fix it. Today's video focuses on an update check-in from today for Civ fans, and that's me. I'm a Civ fan, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you are as well. So sit back, relax, enjoy this Benjamin Franklin playthrough as the Mississippians as I read you an estimated 6 minutes and 43 seconds from the developers. I suspect it's probably going to be quite a bit longer than that. And of course, I'll be flashing this up on the screen if ever there's something that is relevant that you need to see it or read it. Hey Civ fans, in our previous update check-in, we shared a development roadmap outlining what you can expect in upcoming updates for Civilization 7. Today, we're back to revisit some of those items and introduce a few new ones, sharing more insights into how we're working to implement these highly requested additions. Let's start with what's right around the corner in April. The next update is coming April 22, so mark your calendar, that's update 1.2. And that's subject to change. We're working on a mix of quality of life and UI improvements, mechanic updates, and more based on community suggestions and feedback. Here are just a few to highlight. So the first big one is updates to resources. We've made some major updates to how resources work in Civilization 7, starting with 10 new resources coming to the game. These added resources all come with their own new narrative events. One of the biggest changes under the hood is how resources now appear, with a new added randomized resource generation system. Every age still guarantees certain key resources, so you can still progress along Civ unlocks and the economic legacy path. Beyond those, the resources on the map are now more variable. This should make exploration, trade, and strategy feel a lot more unique from age to age and game to game. We've also added something we're calling hemisphere identity. Certain resources, especially treasure resources, will now only appear on one continent or hemisphere. We hope this gives your maps a little bit more personality and motivation to explore. Speaking of treasure fleets, they now provide passive effects, like empire resources. We wanted to make sure treasures feel valuable even outside of generating treasure fleets. Some older resources, like horses and furs, will now be considered treasures too, alongside some of the aforementioned new resources we'll be introducing with 1.2. All these adjustments and some balance changes to resources will be coming later this month. We also plan on doing more work for resources in later updates, including improvements to the resource management screen. Wow, that'll be wonderful. To make things more easily navigable and readable, some of these changes will even lay the foundation for future features like expanding multiplayer counts in the Antiquity Age and supporting distant land starts across all ages, but we'll share more of those later on. So I'll flash it up on the screen for you so you can pause it and read it in your entirety. Of course, I'll be leaving a link down in the description if you want to go and read this article yourself. But just to talk a little bit about this, so first and foremost, 10 new resources is absolutely massive. That's a great thing. And it means that hopefully we'll start to see a little bit more diversity. In this game that I'm playing right now, I'm on the hunt for camels, as you can probably imagine. Most games we're on the hunt for camels, and I think I find 4 or 5 camels in this game, which is lovely. But hopefully with a bit more diversity, it means that that's not going to happen as often. You know, you're going to be typically seeing a lot less of the same resource, though I do suspect that's 10 resources over the course of a game. It's also going to be including treasure resources as well, so maybe that might be 2 or 3 new resources in Antiquity. So it's still a great change. Next up, they were talking about hemisphere identity, which is pretty cool. I like this idea quite a bit. It gives a little bit more variability to where things are. I've already noticed that there seems to be treasure fleets exclusively, or treasure fleet resources exclusively around the equator. It doesn't really seem to go up too much higher than that, so I'd love to see some extra treasure fleet resources up towards the edges of the map. On top of that, they also mentioned changes to balance. So I'm looking forward to this. Of course, you guys will know exactly how I feel about camels. I've already mentioned them in this video. There's a couple of other resources that are very strong, such as gypsum, another really good resource, hides. So hopefully they bring these resources into balance a little bit more, because at the moment, the way the game plays, it's very much just about securing these really good resources and then shuffling them into the next city and just really trying to focus on cities. And here, playing as the Mississippians with Benjamin Franklin, obviously that is our goal. We're going to be looking to try and find all the gypsum, all the camels, and then just shuffle them between our cities. So overall, I think this is a change in the right direction. So well done so far. top marks so far. So the next up is population growth improvements. So this is changes to food. So I'll read through it, but of course I'll flash it up again at the end just so you guys can see. So something we've heard loud and clear from your feedback is that food just didn't always feel worth it in the late game. Growth past 8 or 9 rural population felt painfully slow, and players quickly learned that they were better off pivoting to production, science, or other yields instead. In short, if you were investing heavily in food, you were often playing at a disadvantage. And absolutely, amen. Very, very well. Good job. Because of this, we took a hard look at how city growth worked and made some changes. The old cubic growth formula has been replaced with a quadratic one, meaning no more growth wall. Population growth now scales much more smoothly across your campaign, even deep into later ages. And growing beyond 8 or 9 rural population is now very achievable. Doing so won't take hundreds of turns. This is especially good news for food-focused leaders and civilizations. Cough, Pasha Kuti cough, that's what they've said. Who will feel much stronger than they did at launch. If you've been holding back your food-heavy strategies, we encourage you to give them another try. And one more side benefit, AI opponents should now be better at developing their empire, maybe worth turning the difficulty down a notch. I don't know about that one. So let's, I'll flash it back up on the screen and we'll just quickly talk out a couple of things. So first and foremost, the growth started out very good, right? It was in the beginning of the game, it was very good to focus on food and growth specifically. Then it obviously got changed, and then everybody realized, hey, hold on a minute, it's really not that good. So it's great that they're looking to shift this back. I'm curious to see exactly how much it's going to make a difference, but I suspect it will mean that leaders like Pasha Kuti, leaders like Confucius are probably going to be bumped up quite a bit when it comes to their tier list. I personally really enjoy playing leaders that are going to be able to grow large cities. I love playing a tall style, and that's something that's missing from Civ 7 at the moment, because it's really just about getting a whole bunch of cities, and of course the numbers look pretty big on them, but a lot of that is going to be building as well. So that's exciting though, because I'll be honest with you, it's definitely felt a little bit stale lately. Just it feels like we've almost solved the game. So this is going to be a great addition to Civ 7. And next up, we've got one more turn. So they're talking about us here. Not really. This is the mechanic one more turn. For all the players who just like to keep the game rolling after you've finished, an endless play mode is on the way with 1.2.0. You'll be able to keep playing your campaign past the end of the modern age with a new just one more turn option. Just remember to take water breaks and stretch your legs now and again. Since the victory has already been won at this point in the game, continuing won't unlock any new ways to win, and age progress will be locked at 100%. However, you can still complete the steps for other victories, you can get the cinematics, and you can experiment with your empire if you just want to play it out. You'll even still be able to grab legacy path achievements if you haven't already. In the future, we're looking at ways to expand this so that single-age games will also support the one more turn feature. We know many players want to keep going no matter the age, so know that it's on our list of priorities. And this is another great change. Obviously, we've been asking for this for a long time, and it's been something that's been sorely missed. And I also love the fact that they mentioned in here that they are going to be addressing this for single-age games, so that it means if you just want to play Antiquity forever, I'm not speaking on personal experiences at all, you can. Sorry, I don't know, man. I feel like the 4Xs really come out in Antiquity. Once you get to exploration, it's like, I've already done my exploration, man. I'm good. Anyway, next up, they've got Teams Multiplayer. So, with update 1.2.0, we're introducing a feature many of you will remember from past Civ games. Teams Multiplayer. Wow, there you go. To Civ 7. In team games, you and your teammates will share map visibility, relationships, war status, and alliance status with other leaders, and most importantly, victory. When one player wins, their whole team wins. There are a couple of other things worth noting. First, teammates can still engage in diplomatic actions with each other, with the exception of espionage. So sorry, no spying on your friends. Though, no, you know what? For the sake of just not offending anybody, I'm not going to say anything. Second, teammates won't share technologies, civics, or legacy path progress. We wanted to make sure each leader and civilization still plays with its own distinct flavor, even when working as part of a team. This is just for our first version of Teams in Civ 7. So to all of our multiplayer fans out there, please keep the feedback coming. And a few other things coming in the next update. Now, before we get to that, I just want to start off, or I just want to give you a piece of my mind right here. it's a little bit frustrating, right? Because they're like, with update 1.2, we're introducing a feature many of you remember from past Civ games. And I'm sure I'll be echoing how many people feel with this, but it's like all of this stuff, once again, just feels like stuff that should have been here on release, right? Like the updates to resources is nice, okay? Don't get me wrong. And the population growth, obviously, that's going to take a little bit of refining to get that right. But things like one more turn, things like teams in a multiplayer game, this kind of stuff should have just been mandatory. And look, don't get me wrong. On one hand, it's like I love being able to sit down and play Civ 7 right now. And would I wait an extra 3 or 6 months just to have it baked perfectly? Probably not. But the reality is you only really get one launch. And it means that there's a lot of people that were going to pick up Civ and they saw that things didn't go that well on Civ 7's release. The reviews didn't go well. Things didn't go on. At the end of the day, I mean, it sucks for the whole team that's working on this, that's putting this together, because it's not the developers who make the call. It's the bigwig at the top who says, no, we're going to release on this date at this time. But that's when we're going. And anyway, that's just, I don't know. Maybe you feel differently. Let's move on, though. Let's not drown the mood too much. So next up is a few other things coming in the next update. So we have got research queuing. So selecting a tech or a civic deeper in the tree will queue up the prerequisite nodes for you automatically. This is a wonderful change and something that has been sorely missed since the release of the game. Repair all. Added a repair all option when choosing production in settlements, which is absolutely lovely. And you know what I would just like? If your monument gets damaged, you should just be able to click repair monument and it just repairs the monument. I shouldn't have to click the monument in the actual physical game itself. Like, I only have one monument in this settlement. Just do it automatically. Next up, they've got fewer natural disasters, so reducing the frequency of natural disasters across light and moderate settings. So that'll be a nice little change for us. Next up, we've got map generation, coastal erosion, improved coastal erosion on Continents Plus, Continents Shuffle, and Terra Incognita map types to help break up coastlines more, especially near the poles. And that's wonderful to see, because the poles have been... you poles have just been absolutely crazy. No, I'm just kidding. No, this is obviously a really good change. It's looked a little bit sour for quite some time. I don't know if sour is the right word, but it hasn't looked very good for quite some time. So this is a good little fix, so shout out. And then we've got bug fixes, UI polish, and quality of life improvements. We're always improving what's already in the game, and you'll get exact details whenever the full update notes are released. So hopefully that means that we get ourselves some additional quality of life improvements that aren't mentioned here. That would be very lovely. So these items and more will be reflected in our full update notes when they are released on April 22, subject to change. From the entire dev team, thank you to every player who's been jumping into Civ 7 and taking time to leave your feedback, submitting issue reports with our team, or just posting that you're having fun on Reddit, Steam, Discord. Or just posting what you're having fun with. It's not like all the people on Reddit just like, I am having fun with Civ 7. No. What you're having fun with on Reddit, Steam, Discord, Civ Fanatics, and every other place where players talk Civ. Speaking of what's next, after 1.2, we're going to spend a bit more time working heads down in May. So please expect more substantial updates to come in June. We'll share another update check-in with you in May, so stay posted. So basically what they're saying is, hey, this is probably going to be the last time that you get a big update before the next big update, which is probably going to be in June. So just a heads up, okay? Don't be expecting anything for May. So looking further ahead, there's a feature that wasn't on the list. Is it still being worked on? Yes. The bigger ticket items we mentioned in the last update check-in are still very much on the way. They just take some extra time to get right. While we can't attach a date on these features just yet, we know these are on your mind. So here's a reminder of some of the things our team is actively working on. Number 1, Auto Explore. Number 2, additional advanced game setup options. Number 3, new map types and sizes. Number 4, Steam Workshop support. Plus, plenty more features beyond this list are in the works. In addition to more improvements to the UI, stability, and Civ and leader balancing, as is always the case in game development, plans can shift, but we'll continue checking in with you for full transparency as things continue to take shape. And a quick note on the Right to Rule collection. Lastly, you may have noticed we haven't mentioned the next paid collection, Right to Rule collection. The team is prioritizing improvements to the core game right now, so we've made the call to roll out this collection later this summer. We'll have more to share on this collection and its contents in the future. And if you'd like to share feedback, they've got some links down here as well that you can do it. So just to talk a little bit about this. So once again, a lot of this stuff, and I hate to sound like I'm beating the dead horse here, but like research queuing, man. Like, it should have been in the base game. Like, repair all. Yeah, should have been in the base game. Bug fixes. Well, I mean, we know what AAA games are like in 2025, but is that really the excuse? Anyway, looking further ahead once again, auto explore should have been in the base game. Additional advanced game setup options. I mean, when you compare the advanced game setup options compared to like Civ 6, things are not pretty here in Civ 7. New map types and sizes, of course, always going to be welcome. And Steam Workshop support, ideally, we would have loved that from the very beginning. And I think, you know what, like, we got to give the credit where credit is due here. This makes a lot of sense because it's not a good look. Now, another thing that we've got to appreciate is that you've got different teams that are working on this stuff, right? Like, you've got your art team who is going to be different to your balance team. You've got your content team who's going to be different to your QA team that do work on bug fixing. And these guys all want to be moving forward together at the same time. And just because the QA team on bug fixes is a little bit held up doesn't mean that everybody else should be held up. But at the same time, it's not a good look if you're releasing DLC for a game that people are saying is incomplete. The game is incomplete, and yet you're releasing more content for it. It just doesn't, there's not a good look to it. So I think that's the right call for them 100% to say, hey, we're just holding off on further DLC for the moment. Obviously, for me as a creator, I want to have more content to play with. I enjoyed having that stuff, and I'm sure there's many other people out there that feel the same way. So it's a little bit disappointing on that part, but at the same time, we want them to ideally pull resources out of those other teams. Get your art guys doing QA. I don't care, man. We just need all the bugs fixed, get all the features fixed, get all of the quality of life stuff in, and that's really it. I mean, overall, though, this is all steps in the right direction, right? Like, there's nothing in here where you're going, okay, this feels like a step backwards, right? We're only taking step forwards with this, which is definitely a great feeling to have. Whenever you're looking at a community or a game, that's one of the key things that you want. You know, are the developers supporting it? Is it going in the right direction? So I guess just finally to finish off, what we'll do is just go over the previous development roadmap plan. And once again, I'll be leaving a link down below if you want to take a look at this. But you can see that here we've got the update 1.2 goals, which was listed for April. So additional UI updates and polish, one more turn option in modern age, research queuing, new resource types and updates to resource map allocation, and multiplayer teams functionality and more. And then, of course, we've got more to come. So I suspect that this is probably going to be the last patch for quite some time. Probably looking to, I don't know, mid-June, somewhere in that region, just judging by what they said. But we can expect to have even more of these things coming through soon. So, look, overall, stocks are up for Civ 7. I can't say that about the rest of the market at the moment. But we'll leave it there. Hopefully, you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully, you've enjoyed Civilization 7 and the patch notes. Look, it's not the patch notes. I should take that back, but it's definitely looking like it's the right direction, and it makes me feel positive about the future of Civ 7. I think, before we go though, I just want to say this is like kind of stock standard with every Civ game, so you should also have that in consideration. It's just my fear is that they've played into that a little bit too much. That every Civ game kind of starts off as dog shit, and then it gets better over time, it ages like wine. But it's not just, it's not fine right now. Not at the moment. But anyway, we'll leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.